welcome back.
Yeah, man, how you doing? You know you like that.
Alright, y'all, another episode of Math Talk with Mr. Faison. I'm back with part 2 of dividing decimals. So hopefully you've seen the first video so you can understand the difference between that video and this video. As you can see, we got 2 problems up here that we're about to knock out. Now, once again, I wrote it in the form that you might see, but I rewrote it in the form that we're going to need to divide it in, or how I like to divide it in when I'm working by hand. Alright, so we're looking at this first problem, and also I want you to understand, this number to the right is always your divisor, meaning that you're going to put this number on the outside when you're putting it in this form. And this number is the dividend, meaning you're going to put it on the inside when you divide. Cool. Now, let me break this down to you. Now we're looking at a problem where we have decimals on the outside and the inside. In part 1, we just seen where we had decimals on the inside. So now we have to do things a little different. Now that we have decimals on the outside and the inside. So what we have to do is, I need to turn this outside number into a whole number by moving the decimal over. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it over one space. I only have to move it over one space to make it a whole number. Sometimes you might have to move it over more than one space. But since I moved it over one space on the outside, I have to move it over one space on the inside. So now my new problem is gonna look like 5 and 1. That's what my new problem is gonna look like, okay? So remember, when we see it and it's just a decimal on the inside, we bring this decimal straight up. We bring that decimal straight up. Now what we have to do is, I want to ask y'all, how many times will 5 go into 13 evenly? 5 will only go into 13 evenly twice. Then we're going to do 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. As soon as we get that, we subtract. That's going to give me 3. And we bring this 2 down. All right? Then we're going to ask, how many times does 5 go into 32 evenly? 5 goes into 32 evenly 6 times. 5 times 6 is going to give me 30. I'm going to subtract and I get that 2. Now, we need to bring something down, but we don't have anything right here. If y'all remember, we can add an infinity amount of zeros back here because it's behind the decimal. So I am going to add a 0 and bring this 0 down. Now I'm going to ask, how many times will 5 go into 20 evenly? It will go in there 4 times. And 5 times 4 is 20. So that's 0. And our answer will be 2.64. Okay? If you didn't get it, that's cool. We got more. Let's look at problem number 2. Now, I did the same thing. I wrote it in the form that you might see, but I wrote it in the form that I could solve it best. That's just me personally, right? Once again, I took the divisor and put it on the outside, and I took the dividend and put it on the inside. And also, I see there's decimals in both numbers, okay? So once again, I have to move the decimal on the outside until it becomes a whole number. Now, we looking, I only had to move it over one space. In some cases, you might have to move it over more than one space. But since I only moved it over one space here, I only have to move it over one space here. Now I'm gonna rewrite it. So I have 4, 9.44. And also, if you notice, I removed the zeros because that's when you see whole numbers. You'll never see a whole number with 0.4. Or I don't have to write 0.9. I don't have to do that. Okay, now that we have this new problem, the first thing we need to do, now that we see we have a decimal just on the inside, we bring that decimal straight up. And put that decimal right there. Now I can proceed to start solving this problem. How many times will 4 go into 9? Twice. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Then I bring my 4 down. How many times does 4 go into 14? Evenly. 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. I subtract that. That's going to give me 2. And I bring this 4 down. And they ask, how many times does 4 go into 24? Evenly. It'll actually go in there 6 times. 4 times 6 is 24. So I know my answer will be 2.36. Hey, look, man. That's dividing decimals. Part 2. Hopefully, you watched part 1, and now you have conquered dividing decimals. All right? Hey, man. It's Math Talk with Mr. Faison. I'm going to see y'all next time.
God's plan.